Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Carmen Hunter with Carmen Hunter Health. Today, I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you about stress. And one reason is because we are personally having some changes in our house and have for the last couple of weeks that have brought on just a little bit more stress for me, anyway. And one of those things is we dropped our son off at a 4-week camp, which is a completely unplugged camp up in the mountains, and we love it, and we love sending him there. I'm very happy for him. But that's been a little bit of a shift in our home. He's got 2.5 weeks left, so we know he's having a blast by all of the pictures we get to look at online every night. And we've gotten one letter, which one is not enough for 12 days, but that's okay. The other thing is we have a 17-year-old dog that's not really doing so well. She's probably in the final phase of her life, and that can be a little bit stressful for me as I emotionally invest in all of my animals in my home. And then I also started CrossFit a little bit over 8 weeks ago. So with those types of things, and they're all very different, but when you think about it, we've got a happy stressor, letting our son go and have the time of his life. A sad, emotional type of stress where my animal's not doing very well. And then a physical stressor, which is CrossFit, and that's exercise. All exercise is a stressor on the body. Some people say that it is a stress reliever. And while we may think that way in our mind, our body thinks differently. So the thing is is that even though those are all three different types of stress, the body uses the same type of mechanism to cope. So the hormones that we produce in response to stress, they're the same. So when things like this start to happen, having been someone who has gone through the adrenal issues and some people call it adrenal fatigue, and I'm trying to get away from that because I feel like the adrenal glands are just a victim of something bigger that's happening and can typically start up in the brain, hypothalamus area. And that's a whole other discussion. But as the adrenal glands struggle to keep up with what we're doing in our daily lives and what we're dealing with, because life does happen, there are things that we can do to support that and to support them. So for me, a couple things I wanted to share. When I know that things are starting to change, I can feel it and I can sense it, and so I try to ward it off by having some routines. So one thing I do is I actually stop in the middle of my day and I go out and I either sit in the sun or I lay on the floor with my dogs or something that is quiet and meditative. I put on some quiet yoga music and I just unplug my mind from thinking. And that allows my cortisol levels to balance out just a little bit and gives me some relief from the stress of the monkey mind and the constant thinking. The other thing I do is, even though it's not the adrenal glands that are actually causing the problem, they're the victim, and as I mentioned, we do need to support them. So I like to use vitamin C, a buffered vitamin C, so that the gut is not affected. I like to use sea salt. I'm trying to show you here. I like the pink kind, so I use the Himalayan sea salt. The adrenal glands thrive on salt and vitamin C, and it's very supportive for them. So while I'm not fixing the problem, I am lending some support there to the process. The other thing I like to do is I use an adaptogen. An adaptogen just helps the body adapt to stress. And I'll provide a link as well. But ashwagandha is one of my favorite little tinctures. I just throw it in some water, and I found that it's very effective for me. And then I also like to use either a candle or some essential oils that I put in my diffuser. Lavender is very calming, and I like to smell that, and just I use that actually when I'm having my quiet time as well. The other thing I like to do is I like to drink tea. So it's just kind of a comforting routine, and just brings my stress level down, helps me to relax. I like chamomile or lavender, honey lemon, things like that. So I get ahead of my stress. When I start to see it coming or I start to feel it, I will use those tools to keep myself in check. And I also try to remove as much stress as I can, because just simply reducing it, managing it does not work. We have to reduce it in order for our bodies to adjust and get through it. We're only allowed a specific amount of stress per day, and even though those things are all different, the body is being demanded to deal with it in the same way. So I encourage you, if you're heading into any kind of surgery or you've been sick, or you have children, or issues with financial issues, or you've got a wedding coming up, any of these things are actually considered stressors by the body. So get ahead of it, support yourself, and really make stress reduction a big part of your life as much as possible. Because when we're under stress, that's when disease happens. That's when chronic conditions kick in, because then we start to lose sleep, and we can't repair our bodies and our minds unless we're sleeping. So I could talk about this for a couple of hours, but that's just a few minutes and some tips on how to deal with stress. So everybody have a great weekend and take care of yourselves.